Kia ora whānau. My name is Charmaine Shaw. I'm 33 years old and I am doing my video for the 8-week HCC challenge. I am an administrator for a youth work organisation, so I work 40 hours a week, and I am married to my husband almost 7 years, and I have a 14-year-old son. I decided to do this challenge basically because the old Shah was pretty unmotivated, pretty lacking in a lot of self-confidence. I wanted to do it to encourage myself. I wanted to do it to try new things, just to give myself some accountability and get into a bit of a routine. Yeah, so my biggest supports in this journey have been my son and my husband. My son was doing the HCC classes with me, and that was a huge motivator. It was great to be able to spend time doing things together as mother and son, so that bonding was cool, but also just to have his support and encourage each other. My husband has been really supportive with things like probably the food, whereas in the past when I would try and do things, I was often cooking separate meals, which, you know, does take a toll, and I eventually just started eating what they were eating. But he's been really supportive in eating the things that I've wanted to cook, because obviously a lot more healthy. So I've really appreciated that, and I've really liked reading comments and just being able to encourage others as well on the Facebook page. So that was really cool to be part of. Pre this challenge, I would say my biggest kind of hiccup would be my knee. I had a knee surgery when I was 15 years old, which was a full knee reconstruction, and then over the next 14 years I had another 9 knee surgeries, just due to sports, and just keep re-injuring and doing different injuries. At the end of last year I started having a lot of pain, enough for me to go back to my GP, who then sent me onto my specialist and had an MRI scan, because I was thinking maybe it was the early onset of arthritis. I mean, after 10 knee surgeries and no injury to cause that pain, you kind of think, what's going on in there? But I had the MRI scan, and my surgeon said that there was a couple of like really minor small tears, but that just to pretty much just try and strengthen as much as I could. So yeah, I guess that became quite a big excuse for me, because I was actually in a lot of pain and I was wearing my knee brace all the time. I was on Nurofen every day. I also had really low iron levels, so I was on tablets for that, which meant that I was quite tired, working full time, and you're a mum and you're a wife, and you know, like you kind of do use as an excuse, like I'm so busy and I just don't have time to do anything. I was doing next to no fitness, mostly because of my knee, but yeah, I mean, things had to change, and I actually was sick of every new year rolling around and me just saying the same old things. I need to lose weight, I want to get fit. I was thinking, how many years now have I said this? I guess it all started for me when I had my son 14 years ago. He was a really big baby. He was 11'9", and he, I guess, you know, being a big baby like that, and I was a lot smaller back then as well, kind of felt like my body had changed so much, and I just lost a lot of confidence with my self-image, and just sort of never really did anything about it. Yeah, so just decided that, you know, instead of getting around to the end of 2016 and saying the same old thing in 2017, that this year was actually going to be different. Some of my non-scale gains have definitely been things like I notice my energy levels are up. I'm not on any medications at the moment, so I'm not taking anything for my knee pain. I'm not taking anything for my iron levels because they've been kind of restored to normal, which is great. and definitely probably helps with the energy levels. I find that I have a much more clear head now, so not needing, you know, the sugar at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and not, you know, pacing around work wanting to drink the fizzy out of the fridge. Like, it's still there, but I just don't have a desire to have it. So I guess that for the temptation that's in front of you, like, you definitely, I'm resisting a lot more, because I actually look at it and I just don't want it. So I'm like, I don't want it, I don't need it, so you just don't go there. I'm not wanting nana naps when I come home from work, which was something that I was doing a lot prior to this challenge. So that's really cool. Like, I find I'm doing a lot more different things, and I'm utilising that time a lot more wiser. I actually look forward to exercise now, whereas before I felt like exercise to me was, you know, that kind of rigid feeling of like, why do I have to do this, you know, and feeling like it was just a chore, like it was so hard to do, and really having to push through it. Whereas now, like, I love the different style of exercise I'm doing, with like HCC classes and boxing, and I'm running and doing my own little circuit stuff at home. So yeah, I would say that that's definitely a gain. Prepping my own food, I guess my mood is a lot happier. I'm like, I believe in myself now. I have a lot more confidence. I just things like my water intake is just phenomenal. Like, I've never drunk this much water in my life. And I love that it's the last thing I have before I go to bed, and it's the first thing that I want when I wake up. So I don't know if you can have addiction to water, but certainly, you know, this stuff is good, and it's definitely my first choice. I'm carrying a little bottle today because we're only allowed to drink 500 mils, so trying to drink it slowly. Yeah, I guess things like the money that we've saved, because I'm not just buying food for the sake of it. Like, I'm planning out my meals for the week, so I'm only buying what I need, which means there's no food wastage, which means you're actually saving money. We're not buying food out because we're cooking our own food, which means you're saving money. I'm taking, like, yummy lunches to work, and people are actually quite envious at what I'm eating. And I'm not spending that money on, you know, junk food for lunches and snacks. So definitely would see that as a huge gain. A couple of people have said to me, like, what's changed for you? Like, why is it different? So I made a decision just before this challenge to persevere with an application to the New Zealand Police Force. So this is something that I've wanted to do since school. I remember a couple of cops coming in and talking about it, and I was just like, man, that is so awesome. Like, I want to do that. They said, we prefer you to go and get some life experience. So I went off and I did that, and I really feel like my previous roles and also my current role have set me up really well, and now is a really good time for me in my family situation to seriously consider this. So that's been a huge motivation. When you're passionate about something, like I tell people, like, this is my dream job. So, you know, like, you have a purpose, you're driven to want to succeed, and I'm just like, I will do anything to get in there. So if that means getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning to go for a run, like, the idea of that previously was like, nah, I'd rather stay in bed. But now I'm just like, I want it that bad that I will actually make those sacrifices. So that's been a huge shift in attitude, which has obviously helped me move forward with this journey for this last 8 weeks. And I've just loved it. Like, I feel really good. Like, people can tell. Like, I talk about it and talk about how happy I am, and, you know, what I'm going to do to try and join the police. And people are just like, you just sound different, you look different, and I feel different. So that's been hugely encouraging. Moving forward from here, there's a couple of things that are just stand out for me as complete non-negotiables to ever look back on. So I've really loved and enjoyed sitting down every Sunday night and planning out my whole week of food, my whole week of exercise. That included my snacks. It also worked around things like if we knew things were coming up or were going out for meals. I'd always work around that. And a few times, like I even said, like, I can't go out. So it wasn't so much as like depriving myself because I didn't think I could handle it, but actually it was sort of, you know, like, actually that wasn't a priority for me to just go out and eat food. I've really enjoyed staying and eating with my family and cooking the food. So that's been a huge difference. My water intake is like never before. I love that it's a part of my life, and I just love it. So that's definitely something that won't change. I guess like the money that we've saved on the food has been a huge kind of motivator to keep going with that and keep purchasing our own food for what we need for that week and not overbuying, not eating takeaways. But you know, like, I guess you have to be sensible and you have to be wise, and you know that you're never gonna not eat takeaways again. So, you know, like, that provision is there, but that provision is not like really desired or wanted. So that's been a huge change and a shift in attitude just there with wanting to eat takeaways, and now I'm happy not to. Why did I choose HCC? So I'd heard a lot of positive things about it. I knew people who had been and were currently on doing the classes, so I decided to give it a try. I loved that the location was quite near to me, so it felt like it was accessible, and I liked the days and the times really suited me. I actually really appreciated the approach from Manu and Corey, just that whole kind of straight up, like, no bullshit excuses. And I definitely had a lot of bullshit excuses in the past, so I liked that they were very real about, you know, what your commitment is. You only get out what you put in. And even though I knew that kind of stuff, like, I loved that as a trainer, that they, you know, they really honed in on that, and it was sort of like, that made me actually feel more accountable, you know, because there was times where I didn't want to go to class because I was so tired, or, you know, had a hard day at work, but I was just like, get there and just do it, because it's actually not that long. So I love the style and the intensity of that short, sharp, you know, and every time I left, like, I loved it. And, you know, there was a couple of times I genuinely, literally could not be there, but I didn't feel guilty about that, whereas in the past it would be a bullshit excuse, so then I would feel guilty. So I love that, but I also love that at the flip side of that is they are very encouraging. They do know what they're talking about. They genuinely do care that, you know, you are, you know, lifting the right way. You are using the, you know, the exercise stuff, material, the right way. They do not want you to injure yourself. So, you know, I love that they care about you. I loved the feeling of the classes, like, it did feel like a family, and I loved that supportive environment. So that's why I wanted to try, and those are the sorts of things I heard, and then I've tried it myself, and yeah, it's all true. So thank you so much for everything, and I wish all the other contestants, participants, whatever you want to call them, all the very best on their journeys.